Hi everyone, this is Gian. Welcome to Earth Haven, and today is a chilled out day. And I'm going to be talking about aquaponics, hydroponics, and what are we doing at Earth Haven regarding food and growing food. This comes from a question from one of the leaders, patrons at Earth Haven patron site, who asked about aquaponics, hydroponics, and what are we doing at Earth Haven, and what are we researching and investigating and investing within. Now, I've done a lot of research on aquaponics and hydroponics. I have gone to shops where people sell these setups and where they explain to you how it works and what you do with it. Now, to explain to you what we do at Earth Haven and to explain to you about aquaponics and hydroponics and what we're looking at, I need to go back in time. We, here on the first Earth Haven, got a tunnel. The tunnel was covered in plastic. And inside this tunnel, our first thing that we wanted to do was aquaponics or hydroponics. Now, when we looked at aquaponics, we needed to consider that you need electricity. All right, electricity is to run pumps because aquaponics is to water. It's water-based in terms of there's fish involved. The fish is in a pond. The fish gets fed food. The fish poos, and the fish in the water develops everything that the plants will need. And you have a pump that circulates the water through a system. So you need tubs, a lot of tubs that you set up. And in these tubs, you have your growing beds. It can be rocks, it can be beads. You have all kinds of different growing mediums in which you can put your plants. And then the water runs through these rocks or beads and so forth, and they feed the plants. The plants take the minerals from the water and all the nutrition that comes from the water, that comes from the fish, and they grow. And this means you don't need any soil. This means you don't need to have any work, you don't have to work with soil, and that is a plus. And also you can control what you give your plants. Therefore you have healthy plants, you have fast growing plants, you have plants that gets everything they need in a convenient, clean environment, and then you have food. Now, with considering sustainability and also looking at hydroponics. Hydroponics is where you have to buy the food that you put into the water, and the water runs through the system, the same as aquaponics, feeds the plants, and the plants are also planted in beads or rocks or stones, or they can literally be on floaters, which is drifting in big tubs of water, where they get all their minerals and nutritions and everything from the water. So this is aquaponics and hydroponics. Both of them require electricity. Both of them require a big setup, a lot of tubs, a lot of pipes, a lot of stands, and a lot of water that you need to run through the whole system the whole time. Yes, you are saving 90% water compared to your normal agriculture that people are currently using, where you just spray water on everything all day. The water goes into the soil, the water gets evaporated, and the plants get a little bit of that water. So yeah, you are saving a lot of water with aquaponics and hydroponics. Now, the system that I'm talking about is obviously not a home system where you have a little tub, a little 100-liter container in your house that you run for your own herbs or tomatoes, whatever you're growing. I'm talking here about feeding a community. And with Earth Haven's mission, it is not just to feed the community as the self-sustainable community here that we live on, but to support people outside the community that's in poverty and that also needs food. So when I investigated aquaponics and hydroponics, it's a lot of money. It's expensive. You need to have that money to invest in the setup, the system. You need to now buy all the equipment from the stores to set up your thing. Then you need maintenance. So maintenance is you need to buy again stuff from a store in the future. If something breaks or if something goes wrong, you need to go to that store. You need to get filters. You need to get a lot of things to run a system like that. And if you are not doing it for profit, but you're doing it for a sustainable solution with supporting people in the community, you're not making profit to sustain that level of maintenance and setup the whole time. Now, it's not a lot. You know, you need to buy a filter every now and then. You need to buy your minerals for hydroponics, or your nutrients that you put in the water. You have to buy that every now and then. For the fish, you need to, you know, clean it every now and then. You need to, obviously you cannot just let it mold in there or get disgusting. So you need to do a lot of things to keep a system like that running efficiently and effectively, and you need to do it above the earth. I say above the earth because you're doing it in a very controlled, secure environment. Now, I believe aquaponics, hydroponics is ideal for mass production. This is where you are looking at feeding an entire city. The only problem I have with that is it's still all based on profit. The sustainable movement in this world currently isn't yet actually sustainable. It is still all based on capitalism, which is a profit system. Therefore, everything you buy is still inferior products, inferior designs, and it will break, and you will have to rebuy, and you will have to redo. Earthhaven looks at solutions that everyone can implement, including people in poverty, including people that do not have money, that do not have an income. And we cannot work with an aquaponic or hydroponic system because we will never be able to tell the people in poverty, hey, this is what you need. Here, you need 40,000 Rand. You know, you need a lot of money to run this thing. You need a secure, closed environment, which is like a tunnel, or any building is closed where you have the right light, you have the right electricity, you have heaters, you have fans, you have, you know, you need big pumps. Pumps are expensive when you go onto a bigger scale, and pumps break. Pumps cost a lot of money in electricity. All right, I know we have 2 pumps here, and these things are half our electric bill. All right, and when they break, they cost as much to fix as buying a new one almost. So it's ridiculous costs when you look at a long-term solution, and obviously we are into sustainable solutions. And everything I just mentioned to you doesn't sound sustainable. So here at Earthhaven, we did consider that we set up the tunnel, and we start a hydroponic or aquaponic system inside the tunnel. We set up our own solar panels, which then runs the tunnel system, and we put the water in, we put the whole structure inside, and we run it. But that costs a lot of money yet again. Solar panels is not cheap here in South Africa. Getting the right ones is not easy. So we had to look at a lot of things to consider with setting up aquaponics and hydroponic systems. And to me, personally, it's a great system. It's healthier, it's more secure than, for example, the current way we're doing it. So it's not bad. It is just, it's not sustainable. If you look at the word sustainable in what it actually means. Is it self-sustainable? Can it sustain itself? Can it become something that just runs? Like a forest. A forest is self-sustainable. It just runs. You don't need to go buy things to put in the soil. You don't need to trim the trees. You don't need to do anything in a forest. A forest is self-sustainable and feeds the animals all year round. It feeds the plants all year round. It sustains itself all the time. That's a forest. That's how forests can also stay green. Yes, they have certain setups in climate and temperature, and it's a holistic approach. So at Earthhaven, I had to consider aquaponics, hydroponics, and then I had to look at, okay, self-honestly, what am I going to implement? What are we going to test and work with? And this is where we came across the Back to Eden garden method. This guy has been doing it for 30 plus years, where he's been growing his garden food all the time, perfectly healthy, no pesticides, 100% organic, and it's always there. And it needs minimal water. Literally, I've been testing this out now for 3 months, the Back to Eden garden, and my potato patch, which is beautiful, big plants. Currently, I haven't seen if there's any potatoes yet, but I haven't had to water them once. And we live in South Africa, where the temperatures go up to 43 degrees during the day, the hot days, and yet the soil stays moist inside, doesn't just dry out because of the method of Back to Eden. So here I'm saving already 90% water. I don't have to water it every time it's hot because the earth just sucks it in. It's because of the layering system that Back to Eden has, which is the same as layering something in a forest. All right, so the plants feed the soil forms a layer, the layer absorbs the water. It doesn't keep too much water, and it also doesn't release a lot of water. It always keeps it at a moist level where the plants can flourish within and live within, and it's always soft and nice and puffy and growing. So this sounds sustainable to me because in the beginning, yes, I need to get wood chips, I need to get all the things to feed the soil, but in the long run, I basically just recycle, sustainable, self-sustainable. I just need to put what I grew back into the soil, and voila, it continues supporting itself. And the water I basically don't have to give. If it rains, the water that rained in onto the patch stays on that patch for a very long time until the next rains. So this is the idea of the Back to Eden thing, which has been proven in the physical, and we're testing that out now because that to me sounds sustainable. And surprisingly, no weeds is almost growing on this patch that I've started with the Back to Eden method. And if it does, I just pull it out as the guy showed in his video. It's very simple. Just pull it out because the soil is so nice and soft. Yes, it's a lot of work in the beginning to set up a Back to Eden setup, but it's worth it in the long run. So we are now setting up a bigger patch, but we are out of money, so we weren't able to fully buy all the chips and the compost and everything to set up the layering system. Yeah, but once that's set up, you start having a self-sustainable process that's happening in the soil that will last you for lifetimes if you maintain it well. And the maintenance is minimal. It's leave it up to nature. All you have to do is go harvest, and whatever you harvested, whatever is your throw off, your throw away, you put back into the soil. Now, this is what I had to look at. Aquaponics, hydroponics will always cost me money. It is a lot of money to set up, and it is once again a human system that is not using nature, where nature is already the perfect design. Nature has already shown us how to live on this planet in a sustainable way. We just have to take what nature shows us, copy it, and perfect it. All right, perfecting it means you're involved because we are originally custodians of Earth. We're supposed to intervene and help and support nature. It doesn't mean nature should just go on its own and survive. We are supposed to be the little white cells, blood cells, like what we have in our bodies, that's helping, working, fixing, caring. And that is the role that we're taking on here at Earth Haven, is to care, to see, okay, nature's taking care of itself, but there's a weed, but there's an animal that's chewing all the plants off, but there's that, and you just support. What do I mean support? You don't go kill the animal. You don't go and destroy stuff just to make sure that you don't lose your crop. You go and find a way on how you can plant new plants that repel such a bug. What plants can you plant that the bugs will instead eat? So you start supporting the environment and everything within the environment. And for example, what I like about Back to Eden is I can plant fruits and vegetables that is also for the animals and for the bugs. It's not just about thinking about ourselves, closing off an entire system and feeding just the human. You know, all life needs food, all life needs nutrition. And we humans have taken all the good stuff, which is your fruits and vegetables, and we have put it into closed containers just for ourselves, or we have poisoned it to kill everything that touches it, that we're not sharing with life the fruits of life, the benefits of life. So this is also other points that I have to consider of what is best for all, what is inclusive of all, how can we consider everything and everyone. And that's why we have a multi-setup by our growing section. We have a tunnel, which is where we grow literally for the human consumption to make sure we have enough. And inside the tunnel, we grow that. And we have water control. Then we have the patches outside the tunnel, which is the Back to Eden methods we're using. This is to feed us and at the same time to feed other people outside our community and to feed bugs and animals. You know, we will harvest, we'll give some to ourselves, we'll give some to people that's in poverty, and we'll give some to the animals. We'll throw it in the gardens, we'll feed the little deers, we'll feed everything with it. And therefore we're sharing, we're giving. And then, for example, we have also our fruit trees that is right here inside this building here, which is closed off, which is going to become just for us. Then we have a lot of fruit trees right there in that patch over there, which the birds and bugs are harvesting and eating on every single year. But the whole point is it has to be a holistic point that we move within in this world in terms of food. We cannot continue poisoning and killing the animals and destroying nature just so that we can have food. I mean, where's the logic in that? Where's the self-honesty and common sense in that? Destroy life so you can have life. The point has to be give to life. Give as you would like to receive, and you will be surprised how bugs and animals might support you back. Because that's what they're here for. That's what we are here for, is to support each other, to live a life worth living. So aquaponics, hydroponics, yes, we can use it, but we cannot use it for everything we do, and it's not a long-term sustainable solution in terms of self-sustainability. Self-sustainability is something that sustains itself. This is still a system that requires profit, so you can keep buying and supporting such a system, which creates another industry, other people supporting of such an industry, and therefore you need to somehow always make money. And I'm not going to charge people in poverty for food just so I can continue growing food for them. That's ridiculous. That's not solving the problem. I am not going to always have to worry about what if I have a massive aquaponic or hydroponic system functioning and suddenly the companies that sell or supply me the products runs bankrupt and now I don't have my stuff anymore. You know, that's not self-sustainable for me. It's relying too much on something outside of myself, outside of what we're doing while we want to become self-sustainable. So here I'm looking at also plastic use. I'm looking at what are we using to set up aquaponics and hydroponic systems, and is that also a sustainable solution? Because you will throw away things, you will get rid of things, and that again is waste. But if you use the earth, there's no such thing as waste. If you use the soil, the plants, the bugs, and the animals, there's no waste. It's everything goes to the earth. So here you're looking at a self-sustainable system that also always grows to become better and better and better. It doesn't degrade over time. And yeah, there's a lot of points to consider, and we cannot just look at something and say, that looks great. Wow, it saves 90% water. That is awesome. We have to do it. Meantime, you're spending so much money on electricity, on setting it up, on all the extra parts and spares and filters, and you have to consider, what is a sustainable planet? Because where does all these filters go when you've used them? Where does all the plastic go when you use it after 10, 20 years? Where does everything go after it is not usable anymore? Usually it goes to the dumps, and usually it's wasted. That's not sustainable. So yeah, a lot of points to consider, and I'm considering the earth. I'm considering, let's use the earth. Let's plant in the earth. Let's see how we can master the physical. How can we master the skills of life and what's here? And we're going to use support such as netting and things, because I know for a fact this netting has been here for 8 years and it doesn't have one damaged spot. The white netting there has been here for 9 years. And this netting, for example, even if it breaks or tears, you can reuse. This is probably netting that will last for decades if you maintain it and look after it, and never to throw it away. So yes, aquaponics, hydroponics, small systems, cool, but you're gonna keep spending money. Always remember that. Back to Eden method growing. Check out the video. Check out the documentary and see what we're doing. See what they're saying. I like common sense. I like self-honesty. I like real sustainability. And if you're interested in seeing the process, and if you're interested in seeing real-time feedback, because you know there is millions of videos on the internet on how to grow food, what is self-sustainability, and we are here at Earthhaven actually testing it all out and giving you real-time feedback. I do not have full real-time feedback yet, but I'm telling you my experience thus far with the potato patch, with the Back to Eden method, and how it's working amazing. But we have to see long-term still. So We need real evidence. We need real solutions, not solutions that's based on profit and money and creating more industries. We have to look at solutions that actually means can last a lifetime and that it's based for everyone, not just for those with money. Thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in joining Earth Haven, joining the adventure of testing, researching, and implementing sustainable and self-sustainable solutions, click on the Patreon button, donate $1 a month to support what we do here, and become part of the movement forward for real change in this world. This is only the mission. Remember, check out the vision, understand what we're doing. The world is going to change if we change the world. No way, no other way. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.